Hi everyone, I am back. I am sorry about this ambient noise of rain happening, but maybe you'll like it. It's the sound of rain on a tin shed. In this video, I decided I wanted to share a list of some of the movies I watched as a child that I would consider, at least now looking back, my favorites. So let's get into the list of the movies that I really liked as a child. Okay, so none of these are in any particular order, just like I kind of listed a whole heap that I remembered and other people remembered and put them down. So these are spanning from age 0, most won't be 0 though, to 12 years old. So that's the length of time I decided to look into. So the first movie is Aristocats. So I don't know how much you know about this movie, but it is a 1970 Disney animated film. So the Aristocats is, according to Google, because I am not doing a little description in my own words of every film on this list, especially because it's been a long time since I watched a majority of these. So just want to put that out there. A retired old lady living a lavish life in Paris wills all her possessions to her 4 cats. Now, I don't remember that aspect. I remember there being an old lady. I didn't know she put all her possessions to her cats, but oh sure. The greedy butler kidnaps the cats. Oh yeah. But a bunch of retired army dogs and a stray cat stand in his way. Yeah, I didn't know that she left, like, in her will to the cats all her possessions. Seems like a bad idea, but sure. I get it. So obviously there's songs, it's got some jazzy songs, it's got some it's a good movie. I recommend it still, so I watched that a lot. It's got Heavier in Rain. I watched that a lot as a little kid, and then I'm not sure up to what age, probably not as often, but on and off. So when I went to Hong Kong Disneyland at like 14, I got a cushion with Marie, which is one of the cats, and yeah, so and that is currently on my bed. So, and that's, I guess, where my love for cats is. So, and where it developed. Next one I want to say is Ice Age. That was released in 2002. So Ice Age is about Manny the Mammoth, Sid the Loquacious Sloth, I probably butchered that pronunciation, and Diego the Saber-toothed Tiger. They go on a quest, or a comical quest according to Google, because it's a comedy, to return a human baby back to his father across a world on the brink of an ice age. So I enjoyed those, and I probably watched those more as primary school, maybe I'd say, were probably more the ages I was more invested in the Ice Age films, and I remember like my mum not minding them either. I think she liked them at the time, but maybe she just said that, I don't know. I'm sure she'll let me know once watching this video. The next one is The Land Before Time. So that was actually made in 1988, so it's another older film. Before my time, but I enjoyed it. It was another like Jurassic period sort of film. It was based around a bunch of dinosaurs, hence The Land Before Time. The Land Before Time is about an orphaned dinosaur faces many obstacles until he comes across 4 other dinosaurs. Together they learn how to survive and search for the fabled Great Valley. Now that one, it's been a long time, like especially long since I've seen that, and I don't remember much about that. So that description is not helpful for me to remember, but it was a movie I quite liked and watched a fair bit of from what I remember. Next one is a probably more famous one. It is a 1995 Disney animated film, and it is called Pocahontas. I said I like this movie and I don't know how to pronounce his name. I have forgotten. So I'm very sorry. Chief Powhatan Powhatan, yet again probably butchered it, has decided to get his daughter Pocahontas married to New World's greatest and bravest warrior. However, Pocahontas dreams of marrying a prince named Smith. Yeah, there's more to it than that, obviously, like most of the movies, but as a synopsis, sure. Yeah. So this is one that I knew I liked, and I still very much like, and like probably for different reasons now than I did as a kid. I like it more now because of the topics it faces, I guess, on like nature and also the indigenous of America. Yeah, and it goes more into that, and I don't think I realized that at the time. Maybe I did. Probably unlikely. I just liked the animals. Seems to be an ongoing thing about these movies is generally they have animals in it. Next one is Beauty and the Beast, the 1991 animated Disney film. Beauty and the Beast is about Belle, who is a beautiful young woman, agrees to live with the Beast in exchange for the return of her abducted father. Soon, Belle discovers that her hideous captor is actually an enchanted prince. I really liked it. I wanted to be Belle. I remember wanting to get the costume of Belle, like the yellow dress. They were out of stock, so I had to get a Cinderella one. Because that was my next option, I guess, that I opted for. Wasn't the one I wanted, but still. I liked music as a kid, so that's probably one of the reasons why there was musical dishes. Maybe that was a reason. I don't know. Yeah. I guess the Beast was an animal in a way. Maybe I just liked the Beast. I don't know. But yeah, so I very much like that, and I still very much like it now. So it has come along with me. Next is a 1998 Disney film yet again, also animated, Mulan. A young Mulan is distraught to learn that her weak father must join the army to fight the invading Huns. Unwilling to endanger his life, she disguises herself as a man and joins the army in his place. I also very much liked Mulan. It wasn't probably as up there as like Beauty and the Beast, but I still enjoyed it. It was one I remember watching at least on and off as a child. A lot of the Disney ones, probably around early primary school, and before primary school were the main times I like really watched them, like often, but still were ones like I would watch growing up, just not as often. So yet another Disney film. It is a 1950 animated film, and it is Cinderella. It is a well-known one. It is one of the earliest ones. When Cinderella's dream of attending the royal ball and meeting the Grand Duke is hindered by her cruel stepmother, she gets some astounding help from her fairy godmother. I really liked that film. As you know, as I said before, when I couldn't get the Belle costume, I got the Cinderella costume, so that had like a blue dress and then these like flappy white like cushion things that go on your shoulder, and then ones I think you tied around your waist, and they like sat on your hips or something. And it had animals, it had singing, there was a princess, I wanted to be a princess, and obviously that didn't happen. Next film is a 1989 Disney animated film, and it is The Little Mermaid. It is about Ursula the Sea Witch makes a devious deal with Princess Ariel, allowing her to meet Eric, the human prince she loves. Unaware of her true intentions, Ariel lands herself in trouble. I liked the idea of mermaids. There were animals that talked. There was singing. And yeah, I liked it. It was one, yet again, probably early primary school and like before that I really watched it and really was into it. Yet again, like a lot of other kids, a lot of these are just general films that little kids really like to watch and still do. And coming off of that one was a 2000 movie called The Little Mermaid 2: Return to the Sea. So that's one I actually remember in a way watching more than the first one. I haven't watched it in years. Like I've watched the first one more now than that one, but I remember thinking, oh wow, I wanted like the, I think it was a necklace she had, and so it was like Ariel's daughter, and I was like, oh, I want to go to the sea and like swim with the animals, and yeah, I liked the idea of it. I wanted to be the little girl and I thought, this is the dream. The daughter of former mermaid Ariel and Prince Eric embarks on an adventure after Ariel refuses to answer her questions about a magic locket she finds in the sea. Yeah, I really liked the idea of a locket. And I think for a long time after that, I really liked the idea of lockets, and I think that's where it stemmed. Next movie is a 1994 Disney animated film, yet again, The Lion King. Yeah, The Lion King I really liked. Not as much as the previous, like, the princess films, but I don't know why it's princess films. They are princess films. But still quite enjoyed it. I know it was one my brother really enjoyed, so he's like 8 years older than me, so he liked it a while before. And I really like it now still, so it's lived on. I very much remember it's probably one of the ones I've watched most often. So as a cub, Simba is forced to leave the Pride Lands after his father Mufasa is murdered by his wicked uncle Scar. Years later, he returns as a young lion to reclaim his throne. I'm still very annoyed at Scar to this day, and I still get very sad with that scene, so you know what? Still lives on in my heart, Mufasa. Next was not an animated film, still Disney, but not an animated Disney film. So it was a 1996 film called 101 Dalmatians. You may know it. Anita, a fashion designer, and Roger, a computer game writer, have to rescue the puppies of their Dalmatians from Cruella de Vil, an insane woman who wants to use their fur to make a coat. For a long time after this, as like pre-primary and like into early primary school, even later in primary school, I wanted a Dalmatian. I really wanted a Dalmatian. I thought they were adorable. I wanted my own 101 Dalmatians, not for the purposes that she had them for. And that brings on to the next one, which was in 2000, which was 102 Dalmatians. I enjoyed both of these. I think the first one more than the second. I really don't remember much on it. I assume Cruella is back at it with the trying to steal puppies and make them into coats. Cruella transforms into a good woman after she leaves prison. However, the sound of Big Ben causes her to go back to her devious ways, and she decides to kidnap 102 Dalmatian puppies for her new coat. I mean, why did the sound of Big Ben make her turn back? Maybe it's described or explained in that movie, but looking back, I really don't remember, and seems weird, but okay. Alright, so this is a 2002 film. It is animated. I don't know if it's Disney. I don't think it is, but no, I don't know. It's called Spirit, Stallion of the Cimarron, I think, but I could have pronounced that wrong. A brave and wild stallion travels across the frontiers of the Old West. He befriends a young human and finds true love with a mare. So, another animal movie. One I watched, I'm not sure what age. We had horses, And I remember that's the reason why I ended up wanting like an Appaloosa for a long time. And so that's what I wanted because of that movie. Because I think there was a female horse and she was an Appaloosa. And I was like, oh, so pretty, I want the horse. Yes, so there's that. Yeah, I don't know what age. I think early primary school yet again, but not 100% sure. Stuart Little, 2000. It is about a little family that adopts a brother for their son, George, in the form of Stuart, a mouse who can talk and be just like humans. But Stuart's arrival is not taken too well by Snowball the House Cat. I watched this quite a few times, from what I remember. I haven't watched it in a long time since though, but yeah, yet again, it was around the time I think of the other movies I've mentioned, and probably a little bit more into primary school again, but not as frequent. So yeah, it's pretty similar to the other movies, I think. I remember liking the characters. I remember still kind of liking Snowball. Even though he was meant to be the baddie, but I think he like redeems himself, if I'm correct. So here goes on to the period that spanned a majority of my childhood, in which I was like obsessed with ScoobyDoo. Anything ScoobyDoo, and I would watch it. If I went to like Video Easy and there was a new ScoobyDoo there, I was like, yes, I am watching this. I watched the old ones. I watched the new ones. I watched them all. So let's get on to, at least not all of them, but these are the ones I remember specifically. Alright, so let's start with the most commonly known ones. So that's Scooby-Doo, the movie 2002 that was released. Zoinks! 2 years after a clash of egos forced Mystery Inc. to close its doors, Scooby-Doo and his clever crime-solving cohorts Fred, Daphne, Shaggy, and Velma are individually summoned to Spooky Island to investigate a series of paranormal incidents at the ultra-hip Spring Break hotspot. I really liked this movie. I don't know if it was my favourite of the Scooby-Doos, but I very much enjoyed it because it was Scooby-Doo. I think my dad got me really into it because he loved to watch it too. So, yeah. Anyway, moving on. We've got Scooby-Doo 2 Monsters Unleashed. So, Scooby-Doo 2 Monsters Unleashed, it was a 2004 film. And it was about the Mystery Inc. team is invited at the grand opening of the Coolsville Museum of Criminology, displaying costumes of the monsters. However, a masked man creates havoc by stealing those costumes. One I put down was Scooby-Doo and the Alien Invaders. So that was a 2000 film. So it was actually before the other ones. It was an animated one. Scooby and the gang get stranded in a remote desert town that is full of eccentric people, UFO sightings, and strange goings-on. Upon investigation, they uncover a sinister plan. I remember quite liking that. I think it had, I say actual aliens, but like, it wasn't someone dressing up as an alien in the show. Next one is Scooby-Doo and the Cyber Chase. So that came out, I think, a year later, according to this. Scooby-Doo and the gang are trapped into a video game, so they follow up to Scooby Snacks. Maybe it's just going over my head, but I don't get that. And unite with the cyber gang to fight the Phantom virus. I don't know if whoever wrote that's just got it wrong, or it's like weird Scooby-Doo language. I don't know. I just remembered this one. It's a 1999 film. I remember being really obsessed with it. It's Scooby-Doo and the Witch's Ghost. When writer Ben Ravencroft invites the gang to his hometown, they discover that Ben's place is haunted with his ancestor. They set out to uncover whether she is a good-hearted healer or a witch. I'm only gathering by what I just saw in the images for this that this is the one. But there was a group, there we are, called the Hex Girls. And I remember when I saw this, I was like, wanting to be a part of the Hex Girls. I was like, yes, I want to be this like gothic looking group, and I'm gonna sing in a band. And I remember going out, we lived on a block of land, and we had a trailer, I think it was a trailer, just sitting near the house, and I went up onto it. I don't know if it was like flat, it must have been flat, but I went up onto it or something, and like that was my stage, and I was like pretending I was the Hex Girls, because I really wanted to be the Hex Girls. Next movie is a 2005 animated film called Madagascar. 4 spoiled animals from the New York Central Zoo escape the unintentional help of 4 fugitive penguins. They subsequently find themselves in Madagascar amidst happy lemurs. I really liked the lemurs. They were great. I still like the movie, I think. I haven't seen it in a long time, but I feel like it's one that would hold up. Yeah, and who can't forget, I like to move it with the lemurs. What can I say? Yeah, I watched this a lot more. It was 2005, so what was I, 8? So yeah, pretty much from 8 onwards. Then watched it on and off as a teenager, but like not as often. But yeah, I liked the movie. I think my mum liked the movie. Not sure about Dad, to be honest, but yes, but greatly enjoyed it. Yeah, as later on in childhood though, not as much as a younger child, partly because it wasn't out. A 1998 film that was not animated. Shocker. Were there animals? Yes, of course there are animals. It was Dr. Doolittle, the remake. The Eddie Murphy remake, not the original. Dr. John Doolittle has a special power to communicate with animals, but his family and colleagues consider him insane. He must convince them before they put him in a mental institution. I loved Dr. Doolittle. I think I really liked Eddie Murphy, and because there were a few films that he was in that I just liked. And yeah, I animals, tick. So, and they talked, tick. The other one is Dr. Doolittle 2. Probably not as much as the first one, but I do remember it though quite a bit. So Dr. Doolittle must help Archie, a bear, win over his lady love. Whilst doing so, he must also protect a forest from encroachment and thereby save the habitat of the animals. So that was another one I watched quite a bit, from what I remember. Yeah, I remember the bear. I was thinking it was in the first one too, but I guess not. And that one was released in 2001. So next is Toy Story, which was in 1995. Of these, it wasn't my most favourite, but I still enjoyed watching it and watched it quite a bit. I think my brother watched it, so that's probably partly why I did. And then I saw the newest one at the cinema, I think. Was it the newest one? When I was older. But yeah, so Toy Story, I mean, I assume you all know it. It's quite a big film franchise. But it's about Woody, a good-hearted cowboy doll who belongs to a young boy named Andy, sees his position as Andy's favourite toy jeopardised when his parents buy him a Buzz Lightyear action figure. Even worse, the arrogant Buzz thinks he is a real spaceman on a mission to return to his home planet. When Andy's family moves to a new house, Woody and Buzz must escape the clutches of maladjusted neighbour Sid Phillips. And reunite with their boy. And then moving on from that, is Toy Story 2. So that was in 2000. So I think that's the one we actually had on video. So we didn't have the first one on video. I think my brother got the second one from someone, I'm not sure who. And that's the one we ended up probably watching more than the others. Purely because it's the one we had. So that's when Woody is kidnapped by a greedy toy collector and is nowhere to be found. Buzz and his friends set out to rescue him. However, Woody gets tempted by the idea of becoming immortal in a museum. Yeah, I remember that now, actually. That's the one I remember most because, obviously, yet again, that's the one we had. So yeah, that's probably the one out of the two that I would say was more of my favourite, only because that's the one we had. And therefore was the one we got to watch. Okay, moving on from the Toy Stories, we go on to yet another live action. And that is Beethoven, made in 2002. Beethoven, a huge Saint Bernard, is given all the love and care by his adopted family. However, the family vet, Dr. Varnick, wants to use him as subject for his deadly experiments. I can't give much on a thought on that one because it's one I don't really remember that well. I probably would remember watching it back, but just thinking about it, it's obviously one I haven't watched since, like a child, so. Next is Shrek. Shrek, who is an ogre, embarks on a journey with a donkey to rescue Princess Fiona from a vile lord and regain his swamp. Still love the movie. It is a great movie. I watched it a lot. We had it on video. I remember the video being not the best. I don't know if we recorded it from TV or something, but it would glitch at like when the dragon's like chasing him through the castle. It would just like go really weird there, from what I remember. So there's that. But I think I have it on DVD now, so obviously don't have that issue. Yeah, Shrek was in 2001, as well as Shrek 2 in 2004 was one of the other ones I really enjoyed. And these are ones I remember more. Shrek 2. Shrek 2, I loved Puss in Boots. When Shrek and Fiona return from their honeymoon, her parents, the rulers of far, far away, invite them over. But as the king does not like Shrek, he enlists a fairy to keep him away from his daughter. Space Jam. I think there's a new Space Jam coming out, and I don't know how I feel about it. Space Jam came out in 1996, so a year before I was born. So after Michael Jordan's retirement, he is abducted by Bugs Bunny from the Looney Tunes group and is asked to play a match to defeat the Nerdlucks, a criminal alien group led by Mr. Swackhammer. Next is a 2004 movie called The Incredibles. Forced to adopt a civilian identity and stuck in a white-collar job, Mr. Incredible itches to get back into action when he is lured into a trap by the evil Syndrome. His family contrives to save him. Good movie. Yeah, again, haven't seen it in a while, but I do remember when I did see it, I don't know, what did I play it on? I got the game, like I rented it from like Video Easy yet again. My brother had a Xbox, so I think like Xbox, the first one. I was gonna say Xbox One, but the first Xbox. And I think I rented it so I could play it on that. Next is a 2005, so 1 year after The Incredibles, was it? Yes. 2005 live action film called The Pacifier. Shane Wolf, who is a Navy SEAL, he fails to rescue a government scientist, Howard Plummer, from Serbian rebels. Later, he is assigned to protect Plummer's children from his enemy. This is one I watched quite a bit and I have on DVD. It was one I would watch my family. They all liked it. It's a good film. Still happy to watch it even now. And it was one I was happy to watch all throughout high school as well. So, yeah, definitely one that can grow with you. Next is a 2003 animated film called Finding Nemo. After his son gets abducted from the Great Barrier Reef and is dispatched to Sydney, Marlin, a meek clownfish, enlists the help of a forgetful fish and embarks on a journey to bring him home. It's just a nice film, kind of sad, but funny, good children's film in general. It's one I enjoyed throughout childhood and even as a teenager. It's one you can quote, I guess all you can quote, but you know, it's one that was fun to quote, I guess, and yeah, a good film, and I assume most of you have seen it, but if not, it's worth a watch, I think, even as an adult. So, next is the Harry Potter series. specifically the first five. It wasn't one I was sure if I'd watched a whole lot of as a child, but then my parents mentioned it and my brother mentioned it. I'm like, maybe I did. So apparently I don't remember it. I was probably about 3 or 4 when the first movie came out. So Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, or in America the Sorcerer's Stone. Harry Potter, an 11-year-old orphan, discovers that he is a wizard and is invited to study at Hogwarts. Even as he escapes a dreary life and enters a world of magic, he finds trouble awaiting him. So yeah, that came out in 2001. My dad took my brother and I to see it. I don't remember what I thought of it at the time. I was young. It was quite a long movie. My dad hated it. Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, if it comes up. That one came out in 2002, so a year later. A house elf warns Harry against returning to Hogwarts, but he decides to ignore it. When students and creatures at the school begin to get petrified, Harry finds himself surrounded in mystery. Now, these ones I find it kind of hard to remember what I thought of them as a kid. I wasn't like obsessed. I got more into them as a teenager, I'd say. But yes, it's really hard to say because I have seen them and like I think about them often to an extent. So to think about my first thoughts on them is hard because I don't really remember. Next is Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. I've clicked on the wrong one apparently. So that came out in 2004. So Harry, Ron and Hermione return to Hogwarts just as they learn about Sirius Black and his plans to kill Harry. However, when Harry runs into him, he learns that the truth is far from reality. Yeah, as I said, my dad did take us to it, but he didn't like it. So for the movies afterwards, I'm not sure when, but Mum was more into them than like dad. Alright, so the next movie that came out in 2005 was Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. When Harry is chosen as a 4th participant of the Inter-School Triwizard Tournament, he is unwittingly pulled into a dark conspiracy that endangers his life. Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. So Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix came out in 2007. Harry Potter and Dumbledore's warning about the return of Lord Voldemort is not heeded by the wizard authorities who, in turn, look to undermine Dumbledore's authority at Hogwarts and discredit Harry.
So during the editing process, I decided it was actually too long to just upload this in one video. So I've decided to split it into 2. So I am recording the outro just in audio for this, and in the next video it will be an intro just in audio. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Please comment down below any of your favorite movies when you were a child, anywhere from ages 0 to 12 years. And perhaps some of the ones in my list were also in yours. Alright. Bye guys.